102 years ago, the assassination of Francis Ferdinand, Archduke of Austria-Hungary, caught the world by surprise. His assassination by the Black Hand just didn't cause revolt within his own empire, but tagged along with other nations. As a result, the Great War was generated. Attack! Go, 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 go!
By the 20th century, most of the world was colonized or once was colonized by Europe. Decades leading to World War I, European powers tried to keep balance of powers on check. They did this by forming alliances, such as the Triple Alliance, by Otto von Bismarck, among Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Italy. Bismarck also had a pact with Russia, but after this, William II replaced Bismarck for power in 1890. He basically ignored Russia, which leads to the Franco-Russo alliance, which kept Germany on check and led to Germany's Schlieffen Plan. The Triple Alliance, which consisted of Britain, France, and Russia, made it clear that everyone was preparing for the possibility of war. Political climate, Archduke Franz Ferdinand and his wife were assassinated by Serbian nationalist Gavrilo Princip. This basically set everyone off to declare war. After all of that, Italy declared itself neutral, but the Ottoman Empire formed an alliance with Germany and Austria-Hungary called Central Powers. 8.5 million soldiers were killed. The end of World War I was the Treaty of Versailles, signed in 1919.
Good afternoon, this is Jesus Gallegos, and today I have a special message for you. Yes, December 31st, 1918. America will make history. America will be great. America will be the leading country in the world. Everything for America will exceed. We are the leading country. We will set an example. We will be victorious. October 29, 1929. It has been officially informed that the stock market has collapsed. It'll be tragic years for America. Today, on Wall Street, thousands of stock owners have tried to sell their stocks for really low prices. This has created an instability in the economy of not only the companies that have been affected, but as well of the entire United States of America. The United States of America informs you to prepare yourself for what is to come: depression and anxiety. World War II was an international war ultimately caused by Japan's militaristic expansion into Manchuria in 1931 and into China in 1937, as marked by the attack on Marco Polo's Bridge. Japanese militia conquered Beijing, Shanghai, and Nanjing, in which millions were tortured. However, this foreign invasion increased Chinese nationalism and led into forming the United Front policy in China. But internal problems, such as communism versus nationalism, prevailed. Regarding Italy, under orders of Mussolini, militaristic expansion increased as seen by conquering Ethiopia, Albania, and supporting Franco in the Spanish Civil War. Similarly, Hitler took the same initiative, and after withdrawing from the League of Nations in 1933 and in 1935, Mussolini and Hitler signed the Pact of Steel.
Every son of liberty, hurry right away, no delay, go today. Make your daddy glad to have had such a lad. Tell your sweetheart not to pine, to be proud her boys in line over there.
A Unfortunately, this idea would not be implemented as the government would mostly ignore the equality belief and take control of everything by force. This is shown in Russia with the rise of the Bolshevik Party led by Vladimir Lenin. They led the 1917 October Revolution that overthrew the current government and created a new government led by Lenin. Lenin was a follower of Marxist philosophies and created Marxism-Leninism, which were his views that would be implemented to the new government. He created equality by taking land from the rich and divided it to the peasants. This led to the creation of war communism, which allowed the government to control of everything and soldiers to take from the peasants. Following Lenin, Joseph Stalin.
Capitalism is an economic and political system in which a country's trade and industry are controlled by private owners for profit rather than by the state. In this time period, capitalism was involved during the Great Depression. World War I was shockingly expensive, especially for Europe. In the years following World War I, capitalism financed most of the recovery. The consequence was that Americans had lent the Europeans money and lots of it. This caused capitalism to On October 22, 1962, President Kennedy informed the public on national television about the nuclear missiles and launch sites found in Cuba. This was caused by the Soviets challenging the U.S. from the blockade in Cuba. As the U.S. supposed that the Soviets had nuclear missiles, Fidel Castro suggested that the Soviets should attack first. Later, negotiations were made between the U.S. and USSR. And soon enough, Kennedy promised not to invade Cuba if the Soviets removed the missiles in Cuba under UN supervision. By October 28, Khrushchev informed the public that the United States pledged to leave Cuba alone, therefore ending the crisis.
Communism continued to unravel throughout Central Europe and Eastern Europe. Mikhail Gorbachev attempted to save the Soviet Union by liberalizing society and restructuring the economy. However, there was an increase in radical reforms leading to the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991.
Good morning, America. With the globalization, the end of empire, and no more world wars, Americanization has begun. Together, we will make the world a better place with migration.
Hola, señor, ¿sabes dónde puedo grabar mi pasaporte?
Aquí mismo, señorita.
Gracias.
Migration.
As global corporations increase, free trade enables every human being in the world to trade within each other. For instance, NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement, enables Canada, Mexico, and the U.S. to trade without conflict.
The world is a fascinating place. History reveals its content to us in every single day. The aspects of it, the way this occurred, everything. We may not go back in time, but we can surely analyze what our predecessors have done and how they have affected our lives. Even to this day, people like Aung San Suu Kyi, Indira Gandhi, and Eva Peron, to name a few, have changed our lives. Go outside, change the world. Look at history, analyze it, contemplate it, travel. If you can change history, make history.